So to address the infinite regress described here, I defer to Germany's lead authority on information theory, Dr. Werner Gitt, when asked, where did this God get the information? To which he replied, easy, there must be an over-God. Then further asked, where did that God get the information? To which he replied, easy, there must be an over-God. Then again further asked, where did that God get the information? To which he replied, easy, there must be an over-God. This is an infinite regress. When you get to the end of this regress, you will find the one I call God. Okay, so I'm reading this out. This was a response I got to a video that I made recently discussing the idea of omniscience, and what I suggested was the impossibility of omniscience because no deity can ever be able to discern between actually being the original causal agent and being erroneously created by another agent, such as they believe themselves to be the original causal agent but are not. That there is no way of breaking yourself out of that loop, no way of discerning between those two things. The response that I received here was typical of quite a number of responses that I received, where the person making the response accepted the premise, but their defense was effectively, it doesn't matter how many stages you would have to go back through that causal chain of deities or agents creating one another, when you get to the original agent, that is the one that we call God. I suggest that that is about the worst defense that any Christian could make to my argument here. Now I'm going to show you why. It's good to see you too, mate. But what's with the... So I've been getting into this thing recently where, like, all I do is eat soup, right? Just soup. So I've been buying like all these different soups. That's Baxter's chicken broth, all these different soups, and what I do is I have like soup at every meal, right? So breakfast, bit of soup. For my lunch, bit more soup. For my dinner, a bit of soup, and then before I go to bed, soup. Okay, but where's all this come from, mate? What's this based on? Yeah, so that, like, this friend of mine, Bob, he's got this thing where he says, if all you do is eat soup, whole soup, nothing but the soup, so help me, Bob, then I'll live forever. I'll never die. Yeah, okay, but why are you setting so much store by what this Bob character says? Why do I trust the word of Bob? Because in my view, Bob is the cleverest man in the world. Why wouldn't I trust the word of Bob? Oh, hang on a minute. Look, you seem to be basing this whole soup escapade, changing your entire life based on the word of your friend Bob because you believe that he's the cleverest man in the world. But surely then all that takes is for some doubt to creep in that Bob is the cleverest man in the world, and that undermines everything you're doing, doesn't it? No, because you see what you're missing is this. Ultimately, whoever is the cleverest man in the world, that's the person that I call Bob. So as bizarre as the conversation in that little skit may appear, that is actually exactly the conversation that is taking place between these Christians and myself, and it throws it into some context of why it's such a terrible defense. In the skit, an original claim that eating soup means you're going to live forever was made by a specific individual called Bob, and that claim was underpinned critically by their status as the most intelligent man in the world. When the respondent then called that into question and said, well, maybe they're not the most intelligent man in the world, the response was effectively gibberish. Well, it doesn't matter if they're not the most intelligent man in the world. Whoever is the most intelligent man in the world, that's the person that I call Bob. But you can see critically that wouldn't necessarily be the person who is making the claims. And that is the fundamental flaw in this defense by Christians, in that it is only one agent who is making these claims, and that is the direct creator, we are told, of our universe. And they are making claims, and those claims are judged to be objective moral claims on the basis of their omniscience. if you now accept that their omniscience might not be quite so sacrosanct, that they might not be the ultimate causal agent, it's no fallback to say, well, that doesn't matter because some other agent is, and that's the one that we're really referring to when we talk about God. Well, if that's the case, then you're not necessarily referring to the agent that's making the moral claims that you're basing your life upon, and you're expecting the rest of us to base our lives upon as well.